Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming this evening and joining me tonight. Tonight's presentation will be a brief overview on the B2B side of Medicus Global and what processes to take to ensure we are delivering the utmost professionalism and customer service. On the call tonight, you will actually have me, Morgan Sharp and Calvin Jones, as well as Ricardo Garcia. Morgan and Calvin actually had some other things going on, and Ricardo is actually out with a client as we speak. So that's always good news there. So we're excited about that. So you get moi this evening. So tonight, like I said, is going to be a very brief conversation, but it's going to be very informative at the same time. As we mentioned last week, the B2B side is simple. There is no selling to this. All you are doing is setting up a meeting. And you know what? Let's actually say it's more like you're a lead generator and you get paid for it. So you don't have to feel like you are an actual salesperson per se. You're actually just generating a lead, getting paid for it, and we're running with it. So that's just kind of think of it like that. I'm going to recap on what B2B is just briefly. Oh, my slide's not moving. Hold on. I wonder why that is. Bear with me. Technical difficulties.
Jennifer, just down at the bottom of your presentation there, you should see a couple of little arrows, and you also might be able to use the arrows on your number pad. There you go, you got it.
Yeah, I see that, and it's still not working. It's not changing. I'm sorry, everybody. It shows having. Hey, Calvin.
Yeah, you might try.
Hey, how are you?
Sorry, hi, Calvin. You might try just going out of screen share and bringing it back up again and see if that helps you out. Great to have you with us, Calvin. Back to you, Jennifer.
Hey, I apologize for being late, Jennifer.
No problem, Calvin. Okay, go there. Again, everybody, I am so sorry. We're just having a little bit of technical difficulties. Stop sharing, and then close. It's like it's frozen. Well.
Hey, well, that was the deal. I kept trying to log in. I've been trying for 10 minutes, and it finally let me in. So I don't know if that makes a difference or not, but that's kind of where things are.
Well, we'll just keep going, and I will make sure that we get a recap out to everybody that was on the call, just because I don't want to hold anybody else up, but for some reason, my slideshow is not moving. But as I was mentioning, as a recap of what B2B is, B2B is, it just refers to businesses that are conducted between one another, rather than between a company and an individual consumer. I'll give you an example of that. It's like John Deere tractors working with Lowe's or Home Depot instead of John Deere's tractors working directly with an individual. So, with that being said, I just kind of wanted, and I wish I had my slides to move, but just a recap of how the process is to flow, and how you're going to gather that lead. First of all, you are going to ask your contact if the company is self-insured or fully insured. In a few minutes, we are actually going to discuss the differences between a self-insured company and a fully insured health plan. Number two is you're going to ask how many full-time and part-time employees they have. And three, you're going to get contact details of the person you would like to contact. And remember, again, like I mentioned earlier, it's very simple and straightforward. Just kind of keep it simple, kiss it per se, just so you don't confuse the company's contact person that we're going to be dealing with. And then ultimately forward your contact information over to us. And the reason why we want you to forward it in email is because it's a great way for you to keep a paper trail on the businesses that you have forwarded, to us. So, you can follow up with us, and it's also, when you do send us the email, it's great to actually just sit back and just pick up the phone and, give us a call just to confirm that we actually have it, because that's always a good thing. And now I'm going to go back 1 second, and we are going to talk about, being self-insured and being fully insured. And I had a great example of this, and of course now my slide's not working, and my monitor just went to sleep. It's going to be one of those nights. But basically, the difference between a self-insured is being, as a fully insured company, you're actually going to, you actually pay premiums to the insurance companies. You're taking a lower risk. So basically, the insurance company is the one that is actually out there, paying those premiums. You're getting co-pays and things like that. So, I just lost something else. Hold on, everybody. I'm going to have to mute you for 1 second. Again, I do apologize. I think our internet here just went down, and I'm not 100% sure. So hold on. All right, I'm sorry, everybody. Again, I really don't know what's going on over here, but we are in a historic downtown building, so internet sometimes and computers sometimes can be a little difficult. So, well, let me go back again and talk to you a little bit about the differences between fully insured health plans and self-insured health plans. Okay? A fully insured health plan is a more traditional way to secure an employer-sponsored health plan. With fully insured health plans, the companies, like I was just mentioning, pay a premium to the insurance carrier. The premium rates are fixed for the year based on the number of employees enrolled in each plan. And then, of course, the insurance carrier collects those premiums and pays the health care claims based on the coverage benefits outlined in their policy that the company has then purchased. The covered, persons, meaning the employee and their dependents, are going to be responsible to pay a deductible or even co-pays or both, just for that required covered service under that policy. Where in a self-insured group health plan, it's also known as a self-funded plan, is one that the employer just assumes that financial risk for providing health care benefits to its employees. In practical terms, self-insured employers pay for each out-of-pocket claim as they are incurred instead of paying that fixed premium to the insurance carrier. With a self-insured health plan, employers, usually larger employers, but not necessarily, but majority of the time they're larger companies. They operate their own health plan as opposed to purchasing a fully insured plan from the insurance carrier. Employers choose to do this self-insured because it allows them to save the profit margin that an insurance company adds to its premiums for the fully insured plan. However, as you could probably kind of digest this a little bit, Self-insuring it exposes a company to a much larger risk in the event that more claims than expected must be paid with a fully funded health plan. And there's two main costs to consider in that, and one of them is their fixed cost, and the other one is their variable cost. I'm not going to go into great detail on this because it can be a little bit cumbersome, but fixed costs include administration fees, any stop loss premiums, any other set fees charged per employee, and these costs are billed monthly to the carrier. And the variable cost includes payment of health care claims. These costs vary from month to month based on the health care use by the covered person, meaning the employees and the dependents. The differences between the plans is one of the reasons why it's so important that you're not selling directly to businesses. As you can see, just by the definition, the language can be misunderstood, or it can be misinterpreted. It can be misexplained, as there are many variations of self-insured health plans. One of them could be, is that it's a partially self-insured health plan. It's a partially health-insured plan with an integrated HRA. We have self-insured medical reimbursements plans. We have Section 125 cafeteria plans. So even for a seasoned insurance professional, even our seasoned B2B reps and our vice presidents, and even for someone such as myself with over 16 years human resources experience, understands that all the different insurance funding plans can be mind challenging at times. So again, this is just one of the reasons why you only need to generate that lead for us and not sell the lead, because it can become a little bit cumbersome just because of the technicalities that go along with selling to businesses in the medical arena. So we're trying to do whatever we possibly can to make it extremely streamlined for you, easy for you, and it's just an easy way when you're out and about networking and talking to your friends, talking to other colleagues, talking to other business professionals, to be able to show them and tell them about this wonderful product that is the innovation and the way of the future for healthcare before it blows up. We want to be a part of that, of it blowing up, and we want to be the innovators of it, to where when we're branding something, it's not being branded as one of our competitors. It's being branded as Call the Doc, which is ultimately our parent company, or Medicus Global. So we want to be that brand. The next one I want to talk about a little bit, but before I go any further, and since my slides aren't working, I'm going to actually try and move something over to see if anybody has any questions. Real quick, let's see what we got. I don't think we have any so far, but we'll wait a few seconds here and see if anybody has any questions just on the whole, self-insured, fully insured. While you're at it, I do apologize for my voice. I started coming down with a nasty cold, I believe is what it is, yesterday, and ultimately today I'm feeling it. I was telling everybody in the office, I was like, I don't feel my legs. But I did call the doc today, and as soon as we get off this call, I'll be heading over to the pharmacy to pick up my prescription. So by our next call, I'll be tip-top back in order. Well, I don't have any questions as of yet, so I'm actually going to go and talk to you guys a little bit more about the commission structure. One, I'm just going to kind of recap it one more time, and then I'm going to actually give it a sample of what some of the payouts would be, so it kind of gives you an idea. One, for Tier 1, meaning you, the person who made it happen, you're going to receive a 40% commission on a successful, executed, and acknowledged contract based off of your efforts. Tier 2, 15%, Tier 3, 5%, in addition to overrides up to 20 tiers will be included on this. So just, again, this is for illustration purposes only, because each business is negotiated at a different price, at a different numbers, and there's different terms and conditions and everything that go into theirs. Whatever plan that we actually sit down and negotiate through. So it changes for every customer. I mean, we don't have one customer in the Call the Docs history that has the same plan as somebody else. And that's just how healthcare is alone. When I was buying benefits for the companies that I work for, every time we base it off our business need. We base it on, the type of industry we're in. We base it off of, what we're needing, how much we need, why we need it, how many employees we have. There's just so many factors. So there is not one plan out there today that is sold to businesses or employers that is the exact same plan as somebody else's. So it's the same way with us. Let me give you a breakdown here. And I wish I had my slides up, and again, I do apologize for all the technical difficulties. But we have Sample Cup Company A. It has 1,000 members at $15.95 PMPM. And those of you that don't know what PMPM is, it's per member per month. So basically how we're going to break this down is we have a contract that has 1,000 members, 1,000 lives at $15.95 PMPM. For Tier 1, again, that is you, the person who has made this lead happen, receives 40% commission on that successful, executed, and acknowledged contract based off your efforts. Now, your commissions are estimated. Now, that's my key word there. They're estimated because remember, not all contracts are the same. Around $1,116 based on how that contract is executed per the company's needs per month. That's yours. That's your lead generation. That's what you've done for Tier 1 with 1,000 members. You could potentially be making over $1,000 a month. Tier 2, okay, at 15%, okay, your commissions could estimate around $319. Okay, again, you didn't really have anything to do with it. Okay, you're making some money here. And Tier 3 at 5%, you're making $159 a month estimated. Okay, I mean that's easy money just to generate a lead. Okay, you don't have to do anything else. Just give us the contact information and let us run with it. Because believe me, once it gets in our hands, we know how to run with it, and we're going to run with it because between myself, Ricardo here in the corporate office, Calvin and Morgan, and some of our other B2B team members, we're heavy hitters. We take that bull by the horns and we run with it. So please be assured that when you hand that lead over to us, they're going to be taken care of, and they're going to be taken care of in a timely manner and a thorough manner, and they're going to know who we are by the time we're done. So that's just, again, that's just an example. It's for illustration purposes only, as each business is negotiated price and the number of employees differ. So, there's a lot of things that, go into play on that. And, we're really just, excited about the whole opportunity of being able to have this, okay? So with that being said, the next thing I kind of want to talk about, and I wish I had my slides up, but I received a call earlier in the week from Sam and Sid asking for some attention getters when talking with potential leads from, they're getting through this conversation. And, we're going to give 2 or 3 key facts or stats when you are out networking that you can use. Now, however, I need you to note on this, the more you use in a simple discussion, the more that it is perceived that you're selling. So please don't trap yourself by using these to get key contact information only. Use them to grab someone's attention, to make them go, Oh, I want to know more information. Oh, I need to hear more about this. Please let somebody call me right away. You want to get, kind of like the spark their excitement to where, they're sitting, they get to their office the next day and they're waiting for our phone call. That's what we want you to use them for. We don't want you to use them out there to go and actually sell. Okay? So, because the reason why that is we don't want to cripple or somehow, ruin our strong reputation that Call the Doc has and has upheld for over 10 years for being who we are. After thinking about it, I definitely felt it was something that we did need, because ultimately we want to spark their interest. We want to get them excited to that when somebody from our B2B team calls them, that they're on pins and needles ready to see how they're going to be heroes with their CEOs and their companies on how they're going to save to their health plan. I mean, as you heard in some of the language I was talking about being self-insured, companies take a huge risk by being self-insured. We can save them a huge amount of money from their health care plan. And even fully insured, yeah, they don't take the risk, but we could still save them some money. We could help them with their productivity, with people not missing work, where they don't have to pay sick time all the time. So, we can save tremendous amount of money for self-insured companies, but we can still save money for fully insured. So that's why we just want to know. So when we go in, we're going, okay, we know how to sell them and approach them, because we know what they have. We know what we're up against. So on our next webinar, which I will tell you will be in 2 weeks due to the Memorial Day holiday, we're going to actually cover some really good techniques on how to get those answers to those key questions, and how to sometimes get a little bit more out of a potential lead or a customer. And to where when we are executing those calls here at corporate or out in the field, from Kansas to Oklahoma to Nebraska to wherever, we've got the tools that we need, and we're armed with the arsenal that we need to be armed with, to where we go out there and we get an attention getter and we get that client. Because ultimately, at the end, that one extra client, that one life, that 1,000 lives, that 10,000 lives that we get, we're helping not only companies save money, but we're also helping families get the medical treatment that they need, in a timely manner. Because, like you've heard before, especially out in Kansas, they're so rural out there. It's a long drive from one city to the next city to get health care, when they could actually, pick up the phone. Or when there's a snowstorm, nobody wants to go out in a snowstorm. Now, we don't have that problem here in Florida, I'm sorry, but it happens, and people need to get health care when they're sick. Believe me, I know, I don't feel good. So, but we also want to share some exciting news on next week's call, to where it might spark some more interest, to where people will go, oh, now I get it. Again, this is more for educational, more to here to help you. But we, by that next call, will actually be going through the process of a lead that we actually received from last week's call, and the progression of it. So you can we're going to use that one to kind of explain to everybody, now this is how the flow goes. This is what we had to do. This is why we had to do it, and just kind of keep you through it. Now, we're not going to tell you the company's name, because still right now it's proprietary, but, in the end, it's going to give you an idea, to where you can kind of see what the process is, and, and to know that, the leads are coming in. And the more leads that come in means the more money we're all making, and that makes us all happy. So, this is it. We're the wave of the future here, and we're ready to go. And I can tell you this: if somebody approached me, several years ago and said, "Hey, you can make X amount of money, $500 extra a month, $1,000 extra a month. You know, eventually, hopefully, $5,000 extra a month, $10,000 extra a month, just by generating a lead and giving somebody a contact to run with it. Would you do it? I'd jump on it in a heartbeat. When I'm out networking, I'd be talking to everybody, asking everybody, talking about healthcare. Believe me, it's a subject, okay? And it's a subject that is near and dear to everybody's heart because healthcare is changing. It's evolving. And we need to be on the forefront of that. And we need to grab that bull by the horns and run with it. So, again, if you have leads, you're more than welcome to call me, pick up the phone, talk to me. I actually had several of you call me probably the day after our call, I think it was Friday, you know, asking a little bit of more different questions. You're more than welcome to do so because, again, you know, we're trying to keep the calls low so we're not intruding on your time because as the company grows, we're going to be having more calls and, you know, your time's valuable, and ultimately your time's so valuable that when you're on a call getting some additional training and getting some additional resources, it's also taken away from you out there networking and being able to, you know, talk to affiliates, you know, talk to retail customers, talk to businesses by helping them out too, and talk about the products, you know. So we want to be able to give your time to where you're not being pulled from doing what the main goal is, and that's going out there and talking Medicus Global up and handing those leads over to us from the business to business so we can run with the call the doc side. So that's kind of where we're at, but I'm going to give you my contact information again. Ron, if you don't mind, could you type this in the chat note so everybody can see it? It's Jennifer Chamberlain. I am your Vice President of B2B on the Medicus Global side, but I'm also the Vice President of Corporate Development on the Call the Doc side. So my Call the Doc title was before I came on board with the Medicus Global side, so I got a different title. But it's Jennifer Chamberlain. My direct line here at the office is 813-856-3168. My email, and I'm going to give you two, is jchamberlain@callthedoc.com, and that's JChamberlain@callthedoc.com. And I also have jchamberlain@mymedicus.com. If for some reason you send a lead over, remember as I mentioned earlier, please pick up the phone, call, make sure that it came through. Don't just assume, because ultimately we don't want nothing to fall through the cracks. And ultimately what that also does, it gives me a chance to ask you some questions about what you had. So I'm actually going to answer a question that we have that Carl has sending over, and then I'm going to open it up to see if anybody else has any questions and to see if Calvin wants to say anything, because Calvin has joined us as well. But Carl has asked, what if the company have vendor services center set up this type of offer? Can we work with them? I got a question on that, but from what I'm gathering is if you have a vendor service center, are you talking, Carl, like possible, you know, wellness, to where that they actually have employees come up to you and talk about what the service is, or are we talking about something different? I can tell you if it's about like at a fair, to where the employees, you're at a company and the employees come up to you and say, you know, why should I get this service, you know, versus this service? Yes, we absolutely can work with them. But I just need a little bit more clarification on the question. But Carl, if for some reason you can't type it in, please give me a call. Calvin.
Yo, now, you know what? The way that I took that question was, if the business has a vendor service, meaning that maybe they have a broker that goes out and finds the benefit for the company to provide for the employer or for the employee. And the answer to that question would also be yes.
Absolutely.
We are working with brokers, and that's the way that I took that question. I mean, obviously, there's more than one way to skin a cat. There's certainly more than one way to interpret a question. But the way that I took that is, if there's a vendor involved with the business, the vendor would be the broker that goes out and tries to help the company with their employee benefits. And that is absolutely not only a great deal for you as a marketer of Call the Doc, because not only do you have the opportunity to get into the door with one company, but once the broker finds out exactly what is going on, and we have an opportunity to talk directly with that broker and work a deal, then it may be that you look up and not only did you get credit for one, but because you turned us onto that broker, there could be 7 to 10, 12, 15 businesses that you actually brought to us because of that one broker that finds benefits for all kinds of different employers to offer to their employees. So the answer to that question is yes, Jennifer, if that was the way that it was meant to be phrased. But again, I'm just taking a mere interpretation off of what was read.
Thank you. You're absolutely correct, because I was sitting back going, you know, he could be talking about brokers, but you never know. So there again, we both could be actually wrong. You may be something completely different.
Yeah, I was going to say, we could be both wrong.
but we're not
wouldn't be the first time today that I've been wrong.
Exactly. But we're not wrong with what the answers were, okay? Because the answer itself is yes, we can work with brokers, and I'm going to give you an example. We have a broker here in the Tampa area that we work with, and he's keeping us on our toes right now, because he's sending people to us left and right, and we're just ecstatic about it. So, you know, like Calvin said, if you have a broker, I mean, you may find yourself getting, you know, the whole, you know, gamut of not just one, but maybe 10, 20, maybe even 100 additional clients, and you know, and that's just by generating that one lead, and you'll be making commissions on it. So, talking about changing your life, that right there can change your life. All right.
Now, Jennifer, I know that you had kind of talked about me being on the call. Did you have any specific questions that you wanted to ask that maybe I could answer for the people on the call that would maybe give them a better idea of where we are or some of the things that we've done? Just kind of or does anybody out there have any questions for me that they might want to type in that you could read for me?
Actually, Calvin, if you want to give a brief update of what you're doing out there, that would be great. I got another question, a clarification from Carl, so I'll let you hold it, and I'll get back with Carl real quick. Go ahead.
Okay, well, you know, a brief update. Right now, we, you know, Morgan and myself, you know, we started our B2B venture probably about 7 months ago. And we have had a lot of success, and our success has been in the public sector. We've also found some challenges in the public sector in that it's not just getting through to the right individual. It's sometimes due to circumstances beyond their control that have made it challenging. For example, let's say that you go to church with the superintendent of a school system, and they may purchase, you know, schools buy insurance for all of their employees. In some states, it's a full family plan. In some states, it's a single plan. In some states, it's only part of the single plan, and the employee contributes the rest of that. So there's obviously more than one way to interpret a question. There's more than one way to provide insurance for the employee. But at the end of the day, one of the things that we found that's challenging is for some of those public sector entities that are under a yearly negotiated agreement, where the union sits down and negotiates annually with what the salaries are going to be, with what the benefits are going to be, and some of those things. And when you're dealing with fiscal years, and I don't know how many people on this call are familiar with fiscal year compared to calendar year, but obviously a calendar year, if you look at a calendar, it starts on January 1st and ends on December the 31st. Different public sectors have fiscal years, and their fiscal year may start July 1st, and end June 30th of the next year. Dealing with the situation right now where their fiscal year starts on September 1 and the fiscal year ends on August 31st. So that's how not everybody does their fiscal year in the calendar year in the same year. And when you're dealing with fiscal year entities, sometimes if they haven't budgeted money, or especially if they're at the end of their fiscal year, let's say that it does start July 1. Well, right now is the perfect opportunity. You may not get them to come on board between now and June the 30th because it's the end of the fiscal year. They maybe didn't budget for it. There's only 45 days left in their fiscal year. But come July 1, that's when they're anticipating putting together all of their spending. And so those are some of the challenges that we've seen dealing with the public sector. But I don't want anybody to get discouraged, because at the end of the day, all you have to do is provide the lead, and we can do the rest, find out about their fiscal year, find out about, some of their budgeted items. Another situation that we've seen is a school system. And this school had their insurance policy go up by 45%. And they had a situation where they had 2 miscarriages, a cancer, and a heart attack. Well, it was a small school. So when you've got, say, 45 or 50 people on your insurance, and they're not part of a group or they're not part of a pool, those type of catastrophic events can have major impacts on the amounts of money that individual businesses, this just happened to be a school system, that they pay when it comes time for their renewal. Because, like I said, that insurance policy went up 45%. Well, when we presented the numbers on Call the Doc and showed them that we drive the usage, we were able to go back in and provide the IBC-10 codes, which I know we haven't talked about, but this is kind of a little bit more detailed, but it kind of explains it. We had the ability to go in and show the insurance company the IBC-10 codes, how much usage that we were able to push for this particular individual entity, and on their renewal for the next year, you could see a 15, 20, 30% decline in the insurance, just for the simple fact that it isn't being used at the doctor's office, at the emergency room, at the minor emergency care clinic, and things of that nature. And so it really is a benefit, and those are some of the things that we've seen in the early going, Jennifer, with some of the entities that we've dealt with on the B2B side.
Yes, and the very, very great, information. That's good information to have, to where, you can see that it's not just going out and selling them and saying, hey, this is what we offer. There's so much that goes involved in it. I mean, it's a whirlwind. When we say that, it can be mind-blowing sometimes. But back to Carl's question, and Carl, yes, you and I were on the same page, and he asked, will they offer the service during open enrollment? And the company will make the payments. They have 150,000 employees. Yes, we have no problem offering the service to their employees. They may have 150,000 employees, but only, say, 100,000 sign up for the service. That is fine. We will talk to that company. That is no problem. We'll offer the service. We can go out. We can talk during their open enrollment times, and talk to the employees, educate the employees on what this can do for them and how they can actually do their health care, and on how to save money for themselves. So Carl, you and I were right on the spot, but Calvin, I'm glad you were there, because the employee broker side was a great way to interpret it as well. So Carl, to answer your question, yes, we can do that. Any other questions? Well, if we don't have any more, you guys do have my number. You can call me directly. If for some reason I'm on the phone or I'm busy, you can definitely leave a message. But Ricardo is in the office directly next door to me, so he also tries to answer my phone if for some reason I'm in a meeting or something, because I know I cannot stand voicemail, and when I can't stand when I get voicemail, so we definitely want to answer your calls in a timely manner. So please just reach out to us. We'll talk to you one-on-one and answer any questions that you have directly as well. But kind of keep it to everybody's time. We'll go ahead and say goodbye. Hope everybody has a wonderful Thursday, but I want to make sure Calvin doesn't have anything else to say.
Make sure what?
You have anything else to say?
Well, you were going to have me get my information out on this call as well. Did you want me to do that or wait until the next one?
Well, you can get it out, but we can wait till the next one. I had it in the slide, and unfortunately, my slides aren't working. So.
That's fine.
Okay.
Fair enough. Well, then you have a pleasant evening, and we'll talk to you in 2 weeks.
Awesome. It sounds like a good plan. And everybody else, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you're at. And we will definitely be talking some more. And again, please just pick up the phone and call if you have any questions, because I'm one of those people. Ask the question, because you may spark something else that goes into my head. I know Sam and Sid definitely did, so it helped tremendously. So have a wonderful evening, everybody, and we will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.